One of the most prominent examples of human experimentation is the Nazi experiments, which involved the experimentation on primarily Roma and Jewish people against their will. Many of the experiments had deleterious effects on the brain and bodies of those involved, and many died. My evidence for this experiment is the analysis presented here shows that several types of unethical medical research occurred under National Socialism. Not only were large numbers of victims affected, but also overall numbers of surviving victims were far higher than anticipated. The survivors were often seriously disabled and handicapped for the remainder of their lives. The experiments gained in numbers with the war and the implementation of the Holocaust, and were sustained at a high level of intensity despite imminent defeat. One issue arising is that body parts of deceased victims were retained by medical research and teaching institutes, notably for anatomy and brain research. While there was meant to be full disclosure of specimens deriving from euthanasia victims and executed persons by 1990, specimens continue to be identified. The complex data is to be further augmented and refined. The history of specimens retained for research during and after World War II is being documented, and the narratives of survivors analyzed in order to understand more fully the consequences of coerced research. This research provides a basis in historical evidence for discussions on the ethics of coerced medical research. This quote comes from the National Library of Medicine, 2016. This evidence shows that these human experiments were unjust because it states that there were extreme consequences to the experiments, and many people were affected in major ways. It also states that it was extremely coerced research that cannot be justified by any means.